Hey, hi, everybody. Wow, sight for sore eyes here. Hi, Molly. Hi, Melanie.
Hello.
Wow. Oh, if everybody could have seen what was happening behind the scenes here, the hustle and bustle. Well, I'm not one of those type of people. If you give me a day off, you got to retrain me. Well, they gave me a month off.
Yeah.
So a lot of retraining had to go on back there. And get your applications in soon. You notice the countdown videos. The videos in the countdown timer had a lot of dogs that were already adopted, and man, don't get caught with your pants down. Get your apps in now. Get approved. That way, when you see your perfect peer, you got a much better chance of getting that one because it's a first come first serve basis, especially in the beginning. So get your apps in. Don't wait, and because that takes time to process the application. So wow, we are where today? We're at the headquarters of the Great Pyrenees Rescue Society. This is always exciting.
We are.
And hi, Mark. So, but yeah, so I don't want to waste any time. We got Roman will be here a little bit later, and we actually got some questions in on the Q&A. Let's put it this way. At least I hope he gets here a little bit later because I sent him the questions. So I don't have I do know what some of them were, but yeah, we got a new segment that we're going to be using probably more as a filler than anything if we have time left. Okay, we're going to be
Yeah.
able to answer some of the burning questions like why do dogs bark? And the answer might surprise you. We're not going to answer because they're dogs. Well, that's part of the answer, but you'd be surprised. So anyway, one last thing before we get rolling. Um, if some of you saw a dog we had on here a few weeks, well, it's been a month, then a few weeks back. His name was Dewey. Well, that inspired us to do something. We now have created a central abuse reporting location. And then we have some volunteers that you report it there. Now, you have to leave your information, but we're not going to pass it out without your permission, period. And if animal control or the authorities are asking for your information, that means they're interested in pursuing what you had reported. So it will be in your best interest to give us an A-OK to give the authorities your information. All right. So, but that does not, the abuser is not going to get your identity. So there's no fear of retaliation when you report to that page. And once again, you got to retrain me. I will put the link to that in the comments, unless that's what Melanie's doing right now. That could be what she's doing. So
I do not have the link to share.
go out to you go out to newhopepeers.org, and it's one of the I haven't got it up front yet, so it's under the more section, but that's coming after the show. It will be for everybody to see. It has now been shared on the Do No Harm Dog Behavior and Training page, and so we're fixing to get busy. So, and by the way, if anybody wants to volunteer to do, to help us out, we always need good part-time volunteers. I mean, this is not a full-time thing, all right? Because it's going to be slow to take off. We know this, but we had to do it, and there's where you go to a single place to report abuse anywhere in these 48 states. All right, because I did a little survey of why people aren't, because obviously people are seeing some of this and walking on by. Why is that? Well, the number one reason for that was fear of retaliation. And I get that. That could happen. And the number two reason is, well, they weren't certain who to report it to. Okay, well, we just took the two top reasons to not report off the table. And you put it up there on the website. There's a form down there. And we'll take it from there. So hopefully we can make this a little easier. We've got to stop this abuse. And because if we don't know about it, we can't. After it's already happened, that's a little too much after the fact. They still haven't caught the person that did that to Dewey yet. The last I heard. And before we even got everything going, you're going to notice a second dog up there. Mountain Mamas took in a second dog before we got Dewey going that they found in a dumpster of all things. And then, surprise, surprise, she was also pregnant. Very close, within a couple of days of having her puppies. So we don't want puppies born in dumpsters. All right, that's just not a healthy thing to happen. Anyway, let's move forward. we've got a lot of exciting things going on, and you just got through part of it. The rest of it is right there in Molly's hands.
Mm-hmm.
Hello there, Molly. Who's this GPRS dog that is so raging out of control and wants to eat everybody in sight?
This is Lady.
And I love her spelling. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should play her video. See,
Yeah.
remember the retraining thing? Let's do that next.
Perfect.
Wow, that was Lady. Holy cow.
Yes. And this is
Now,
Miss Lady.
so she doesn't fit the narrative of some people's mindset that if they're in rescue or a shelter, they got to be a bad dog, right? Or they got to
Correct.
be broken.
Yeah, absolutely.
That doesn't look like a broken dog.
No, she is very sweet. She loves people.
You know, the biggest problem with the dogs broken is dogs don't break. Sorry,
Right?
especially Great Pyrenees. Oh, she's
Yes.
gonna take a nap.
Yeah, she definitely wants to
So,
explore.
well, so now we know she's a couch potato.
Yeah.
How about that? They make the finest couch potatoes of any other breed. So, what can you? Well, I know you're not going to know her as if you were fostering her, but what can you tell us about her?
Yeah, so she was born in around October of 2022. So she's about two and a half. Um, she came into rescue. Lady, you're on my little notes, honey. She came into rescue in April of last year. So she's been here at headquarters for about 10 months. Um, she weighs 78 pounds and she's a pretty healthy weight there, hovering around 80 pounds. And she came into us as a stray from the Dallas area.
Hmm. So
So,
she escaped somebody, maybe.
yeah. But yeah, she's very playful. Um, she loves her people for sure, and she's currently in an area right now with another male, and she does love to play, so she would probably be best in a home with some more active people. She does love to go on her walks, and she does walk well in a leash. Um, and she seems to be interested in some of the toys here, and she's definitely motivated by these treats. So I think training should go
Wow.
pretty well for her.
Wow. So once again, and for those of you that think that the dogs are in rescue because they're bad or broken, let me tell you a little secret. Rescues around the country are seeing this. They're getting more and more dogs in that are just the opposite. They've got people scratching their heads. Who didn't want this dog? Okay.
Right.
And now keep in mind that some cases that come into rescue are just unavoidable. All right, deaths of the parent and stuff like that, financial changes, whatever. But man, a lot of these are not like that.
Yes, for
Because
sure.
if you get your dog for convenience, when it becomes inconvenient, then what are you going to do? Well, good thing we have
Right.
rescues, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, and she's a gorgeous dog. She's got the really pretty like badger markings on her ears. She's got a cute little tan spot on her butt.
Yeah. But it doesn't
um,
look to me like she's a candidate for the big butt contest, though, is she?
Absolutely. Well, if you brush it out, she could be.
Well, all dogs are a candidate. It's not the big butt that counts. It's the dogs being entered that counts. We're showing off
Yes,
dogs.
for sure, for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Um, but yeah, she's got a little bit more energy at being two and a half. She definitely needs a friend in her forever home or in a foster home so that she can play. She loves Mr. Murphy, who we're featuring next. So a home with another male dog would probably be best for her. She still gets a little bit excited sometimes when she sees other people. So if kids are in the picture, definitely some older kids, I think would be best.
Because she'll
Um,
accidentally knock them down, right?
Correct. Yes.
She's not being mean to them. I just want to clarify this.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Right. No, she just likes to play and be by people. Um, and she is a little bit more, like I said, kind of on like the moderate energy side for up here. But when I went to grab her, she was just laying down, taking a little nap in the sun. So can definitely be a little bit calmer when she's
So
got.
you weren't, now, had you met her before today?
I have, yes.
Okay, good, good.
Yep.
That's always a good sign.
Yeah,
Now,
for sure.
the the three dogs that we have coming on, had you met the other two that before today?
Yes, I
Okay.
have.
When you first met her, how did she
Yes.
respond to you?
Wags her tail.
Okay,
um,
so this is a good thing.
yes, very friendly. Very, very friendly with other people for sure.
Awesome. That means
So,
she's thriving. She's going to thrive.
oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you meet those needs, and they're going to be easy to meet because she makes them known.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
But
She said,
yeah,
Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org. We're at their headquarters today, and
yes.
it's exciting. Now, Great Pyrenees Rescue Society has been around for some time now, and they're nationwide pretty much. And what a lot of people don't understand is they have quite a few foster homes. It started out to be mostly in the Pacific Northwest, but they've branched out since then recently, and like wildfire almost. And people are willing to help out there now. And a lot of people want to help, but we still we have a lot of population in this country, and it still baffles me why they have such a hard time finding fosters. Okay, but they
Hmm.
do still. And but headquarters they can hold I think up to 43 dogs. Is that what I'm remembering?
Yeah,
And
there's about 20 or so here now.
okay, well
It's
this is actually a good sign
Yeah, yeah,
because usually they're maxed out to capacity. Okay,
yes, and we
and
we we still are.
uh, yeah, well the what they've got set up is every dog. Naturally they're based in Texas, so dogs come in from Texas, and that's been the way it's working. They take very few dogs in from the Northwest. All right, but so on paper this is supposed to be. They stay at headquarters for a couple of weeks, get their evaluations, their medical all taken care of. Then they move to a temporary foster in Texas, and while another dog gets adopted in the Northwest, then a dog from Texas goes up there to a long-term foster. They've got so many dogs that have been slammed in there recently that it's broken that chain.
Hmm.
Short-term Texas fosters are now being long-term, and there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that, and one of them is probably financial. That's probably the biggest one. But we gotta start thinking about keeping our dog is what we need to probably work on doing, and
Absolutely.
maybe we can get control of backyard breeders. Okay, and maybe
Yes.
the AKC should start becoming a little more lax. Maybe allow to show a dog that's been neutered or spayed. That doesn't change them. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it changes reproduction ability. Okay. Um, but boy, look at her. I think she
Yeah,
likes
she's
her butt
leaning,
rubbed.
leaning in for pets.
I think she likes her butt rubbed.
Yes, for
All
sure.
right. So, Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org. Any closing thoughts on her, Molly?
Get your apps in soon because she's a good one.
Yeah, and get your apps in early because if you don't already have your app in, and somebody does, they might beat you if they're a fit. Great Pyrenees Rescue Society works very hard on making sure the dog at hand is a fit where they're going, because sometimes personalities can clash or anything. All right,
Mm-hmm.
and so they work, and they're usually pretty good at this too. They've got a very low return rate. And I can see some of the volunteers now. Well, every dog I hear about's been returned. Well, no, you hear about it because you're in there. Okay, so
Right.
but these are good dogs now.
Yes.
And
Very
by the
good.
way, I'm glad. Thank you for reminding me of this, Roman. And if you're thinking about getting a dog, even maybe you've never had a peer, well, you're going to be looked at even closer by the Great Pyrenees Rescues because this breed's not for everybody. And well, Roman can probably help out a little bit with that. He's got a class up and coming just for this, don't you, Roman? You are going to
Well,
speak?
it's not up and
Oh,
coming.
you
It's a
don't.
forever
Okay.
class. You
Oh,
can
there
have
we go.
it.
All right. And this is
Okay,
for
can I talk
people
now?
even that don't have dogs yet. Go ahead, Roman.
This course, it's an online course. It's always there. Is for people who have guardian dogs, want to get guardian dogs, struggle with guardian dogs, or love guardian dogs. Because it explains the history of the dogs. It explains the way of working, the way they think, the way we're interacting with them. It has troubleshooting, and as we meet together and as I would collect questions of you guys, those questions go also in the course. So even if you meet that, you're going to find it over there. I'm just enriching it as we go, because people have questions and I want to answer them as well. I believe for rescues who want to adopt a dog, I would prefer those who have passed that course because it comes with a certificate. So their question there, and Steve has passed that course with flying colors, that if you don't pass that course, you're not getting a guardian dog ish.
Well, if
If
you
that
don't pass the course, you're probably not going to want one of these dogs. Okay. I mean,
right.
you can't get
But
a dog because of how
it is
good
it
they
is a
look.
serious course. It's a serious course. It has questions. If you don't understand the breed, you will not pass the test. As simple as that.
Right. And
But
when you
everything
pass that test, that will get attention.
yeah. And I think that would be a preliminary exercise. If somebody really wants serious to get an adoption dog, having passed that course is a proof that he understands what he's going to get.
And that's a much better chance of this transition going very well this way.
Yeah, because it prepares for the dogs who come in the house.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So now, who's after? Who you got coming up next after Lady there? By the
We
way, I
got
love the way GPRS spells their names.
we got Mr. Murphy up next, her best bud.
Okay. Oh, her and Murphy are pals.
They are.
All right. Oh, so we may have a little challenge getting them past each other, huh?
Yeah.
Not because they're mean to each other, it's because hey, fancy meeting you here.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, what a beautiful! Look at his tail. Look at that
Yes.
full wag.
He's a gorgeous dog.
Yeah. So, what can you tell us about? Now, you've met him before too, so this is actually a good thing. You got insight and
Yes.
treats. You got treats.
Yes.
I get a treat.
Yeah. Um, yeah, do you want to play his video first and then we can kind of get into him?
Thank you for reminding me. Remember the retraining thing, okay?
Yeah.
just baffling. Who doesn't want that dog?
Yeah, he's such a good boy.
He sure is. Wow. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Molly. It's your
he
turn.
yeah, so he came to us as an owner surrender actually in October of 2023. He was born around May of 2022, so he'll be 3 pretty soon. And we've had him at headquarters here since December of 2023. So he's been with us for quite a while. He's come a very long way since we got him. He used to be a little bit on the timid side, but he is, as you can see, definitely not timid anymore. He's super friendly with people. He walks very well on a leash. And like I said before, too, him and Lady are best of friends. So they walk together, they play together. He's still pretty playful, as his video said. He plays hard. So he'd probably do best in a home with another dog to again help with some of his energy. And he loves treats as well. So training should go pretty well for him. Um, he is good with all females. So another female dog. Hi, thank you. Would be best for
He
him. And
gives
then
good
he
kisses too.
Yes, we actually do have one of our fosters for him got a DNA test done on him, which who knows how accurate that really is, but obviously mostly Pyrenees. But it did show that he has a little bit of Anatolian in there as well, and then along with some Commodore, Maremma, Irish Setter. But yeah,
Then the bombshell.
yes, but yes, definitely all
What's that
Pyrenees.
last breed? What's that last breed they said he had? German Shepherd.
German Shepherd, yeah, which is very
You know
interesting.
they had me until they hit that one.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and I see Rena's question about adopting him and Lady together. I think that'd be awesome if they could be adopted together because they get along very well.
Now, correct me
Um,
if I'm wrong. Since they're at headquarters, are they available to foster also?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
he would be great in a home for sure to be fostered and
Oh, my
um
prediction would be the same. He would do good in a home, but you
yes.
still have to teach him home stuff.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Um I between him and Lady, I mean he does bark, but he calms down pretty quickly. Um,
Thank God. I was starting to worry if he was a dog there for a little while.
I know, right? But yeah, I mean he's been in the house for about 10 minutes or so, and he has not barked one time. But yeah, he also
Because
does
there's
well.
no reason for him to bark.
Right.
They got to have a reason.
Yeah, exactly. No, he does walk very well on a leash. Probably a little bit less like energetic than Miss Lady, but still a benefit from like the daily walks and all that good stuff. And yeah, I mean, he's an all around good boy for sure. He leans in for pets and gets very excited meeting new people now. We have volunteers, a lot of different volunteers that come and walk the dogs, and he's
Oh
friendly with
yeah,
everybody.
that's one thing about the GPRS headquarters. The Everybody says, "Oh, that's a shelter." Well, kinda if you want to look at it that way, but it's like no shelter you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
These dogs get socialization, they get exercise. They've got a lot of volunteers that go there. They get to
Yes.
meet different people is key, and they get to see that not all people are going to be mean to them, or not all people are dangerous. Okay,
Yeah.
um,
Yep.
and when you're not dangerous, that makes you safe.
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
so yeah, the GPRS headquarters. I've been there. It is an amazing place.
Yes.
My wife had to pry me out of there, actually. So, well, that and
Yeah.
the airline. Melise
Yeah.
knew better. We got a round trip ticket. All right, so
Yep.
there was a reason for that. All right. I can be annoying. All right, so Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org is amazing, and you can foster him. You can
Yes.
adopt him. You can foster him and her, or you can adopt them both together. It sounds like so.
Yes. Absolutely.
And and you can look at that as two ways: double the work, or well, twice as easy. However you want to look at it.
Great.
But you still got the expenses of another dog, vet expenses and stuff like that, food and So always remember that. Don't adopt someone that you can't afford either.
Right.
So, all
Yeah.
right.
He's a
Wow.
good
And we got
boy.
an exciting half of the show coming up after we get finished with our next dog.
Yes.
In case anybody's wondering why Roman's here, that's why. So, all right. Who's next?
Next up, we have Miss Elsie.
Miss Elsie, spelled
Yes.
Elcie. I love these spellings.
Correct. Yes.
How did Murphy wind up with conventional spelling?
It's a good question.
That's
Well, you
neglect,
want to
right?
do Elsie's video while we bring Elsie in?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we weren't staged. Okay, I'm gonna play her video then. Here we go.
Perfect.
Oh my goodness, those pictures did her no justice.
I know. She's a
Hey,
gorgeous
Melanie,
girl.
do me a favor. Before we get too deep into her, can you bring Mark's comment about Magnolia up briefly?
Absolutely.
All right, I just saw that. Now, Magnolia was a dog that Mark fostered, and she was deaf. And his adopter said that after having Magnolia, she can't imagine ever having another dog that could actually hear again. This dog's amazing. Mark did good work. Mark
Can you see?
Mark went out to the human side of this and learned sign language so he could be a better foster for her. So anyway, thank you, Melanie. Now let's get back to the star here. She's a very
Yes,
active star.
she is.
Oh,
She's got that puppy energy still, even though she's the oldest one of the three. She was born in May of 2021. So she'll be almost 4. She weighs about 73 pounds and she's pretty healthy at that weight. But she's very tall, so she looks like she weighs a little bit more than that. She came into us as a stray in May of 2024. As you guys can see, she definitely has a lot of energy still, but she calms down pretty good as long as people are petting her. She does love people. I don't think she's met a stranger she doesn't like. So, yeah, she gets very excited to go for walks. So definitely a little bit more active home would be best.
boy, I've seen more than just her kind of take that narrative that they're adults at 3. Maybe we should start letting the dogs let us know when they're adults.
Exactly, yes. Yes, for sure.
Boy, she sits pretty, doesn't she?
Yes.
Look at those. Look at her face. God, she
Yeah.
is stunning.
She's a gorgeous badger peer for sure. Hi, I know. But yeah, she definitely still gets very excited meeting new people. So older kids would be best. Because she gets a little too excited sometimes. But as you can see, super super friendly.
Look, she looks super soft too. Wow,
Yes,
that
she is. Her
tail's
coat.
slapping you all over the place, isn't it?
Yes.
And that's why we often recommend the young children that
Yeah.
that shouldn't probably not a good idea because that tail can do some damage by being happy.
Yes. Yeah. For sure. Um, but yeah, she would do best with a younger dog, I think, in the home, just because with some of the older dogs, she's still learning to take some of those cues of when to kind of calm down and be done playing. Um, but definitely very
Sydney
active.
made a comment that looks like she would be a great hiking
I
buddy.
think she would love hiking for sure. She when we first got her, she did pull on the leash, but she's come such a long way with leash walking. I took her before the show when I got here, and she pulled maybe one time. Um, and we used the technique that
I
Steve
think
taught
it
us.
looks to me like Rena might be right. She may want to go meet Julio.
I know. I definitely would take her because she's very cute. But as you
Boy,
can
you
see, her
definitely
spatial
you,
awareness isn't
that
quite
would sure
there.
would help you burn some calories too, wouldn't it?
Yes, for sure. um,
But she
but
doesn't
yeah,
have a mean bone in her body at this point,
no,
right?
definitely not. Yeah,
She
and she responds well to the walking technique where if you just stop, um, when she starts to pull, she'll come right back to you.
That's amazing. That means
Yes,
this is good. That means we don't have a situation to where she doesn't trust a human. Now you weren't here, Roman. I don't know what happened, but Molly just said that one of the techniques of teaching a dog not pull is just by stopping, and then when the dog turns back to you and comes to you, she does that, and it's amazing too because well basically most dogs that is your go-to providing there's not a trigger like another dog or a human that's not
right.
for that. Okay,
Yes, yep. I
look
think
at
she's
that butt,
also
that's amazing big butt.
yeah. I think she's also probably the quietest of the three. I've met her a few times before this, and she is definitely more on the rare side for barking. That doesn't mean she doesn't bark because she does, but for a Pyrenees, I think it's definitely on the quieter side.
So no excessive barking that you know of.
Correct. Yes. Uh huh. And if she does, it's because she's excited and wants to say hello to you.
Right, right. See,
um,
people got to remember that a dog bark, that is their way to communicate,
right.
one of them.
Exactly. Yeah, but I mean she's amazing. She's very pretty. She just found a treat that she wasn't sure that she wanted right away, but she took it. So again, food motivated. So training should go well. But definitely more on the active side for her, but she loves her belly rubs.
I see that.
Yes.
Of course, then again, I haven't really met many dogs that didn't like their belly rubbed
Right,
in
yeah.
one fashion or another.
Right.
I had a little Chihuahua one time. Thank God that dog wasn't not 100 pounds. All
Yeah.
right, that he would suck my daughter in every time. She'd
Oh,
be come over to see my wife, and old Snoopy would turn upside down like he wanted a belly rub, but he didn't. He wanted to bite her hand, and that's
yeah.
how he knew she would put her hand close enough for him to get. Now he
Mhm.
didn't have any teeth at that age, but he had one tooth. But she fell for it every time.
Yeah.
So they're good at that. They'll suck you in, so be careful. But
Yeah.
here, that she's another dog who didn't want this dog.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wow, right, and it's not just GPRS. We're seeing this trend in just well all the rescues I work with, and um, and I'm sure Roman's seen it. These are good dogs being turned into rescue. I always thought you were supposed to keep the good dogs.
Yeah.
Oh well.
You
But
know.
she's amazing. Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org.
Yes. And she doesn't mind being brushed either. She did very, very well with that today.
Oh, that's
Letting
pretty obvious. You got two separate people rubbing on her. Yep, I
yeah.
bet she might be okay being brushed. And you
Yes.
know what? And if she's not, there's a reason for that.
Hmm.
Not being okay being brushed is simply a symptom. Okay? It's
Yes.
not, that she's responding to something that's happened somewhere, but that doesn't mean she never can be brushed. That's kind of silly. That means we have to give her a new association of what it means, maybe. Okay,
Yes.
but that would have to be evaluated. Don't just assume that. Okay. So anyway, wow, this is
Yeah.
amazing.
She's awesome.
Yeah. When do you get to go back to headquarters next for the next show?
Sometime
Next
next
time.
month. We haven't quite picked a date yet, but sometime in March.
Okay. All right. So we want to try to do a show from GPRS HQ, but maybe once a month. I like that.
Yes. Yes.
Then
Lots
pretty
of
soon
dogs here.
we may. What happens if we start needing more and more because we're greedy?
We'll just keep them coming.
How about we play it by ear? How's that?
Yeah, that works.
All right. Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org. You just witnessed some of the three of the finest dogs I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
look at that tongue just hanging right off
Yeah.
the side. All
She's
right.
great.
Look at her gentle eyes, Roman.
Yes.
And that's over a computer. We can tell they're gentle.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. So always remember, we sometimes we can't see the same thing that you can see because depth perception and stuff like that's off with a
Mm-hmm.
monitor. All right, great. Now, in as promised in this first show here of the year, we're late bloomers. Okay, this is our new year here. Okay, um, as promised, you send in your questions. We're going to try to address them when we can. Okay, it's more of a filler. So thank you, Molly, and we'll see you next
Of
month. Right.
course. Yes.
So Roman has received some questions that people have submitted, right? Okay.
Yep.
I have the questions in front of me. I sent them to you because they had to retrain me to do the show again. That's what I was busy now. And but I think one of the questions pertained to senior dogs, right? It was actually three separate questions, kind of wrapped up in one, wasn't it? Because
If I
they're
remember right, it was the question
answers.
about the staircases, right?
The senior questions was about getting them in the car with different ramps, steps, and stuff like that.
Good. I sent
Do
you
those
a
work?
link.
I think is what it was boiled down to.
Right. Can you upload that link? So we
Oh,
can
the link
share
you
it?
put in the comment in this.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know what that was for. First of all, I got to figure out how to do it. Oh, right there. Okay, I can do this.
Good.
Where do you want this link? Do you want me to screen share this?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that. Okay, we're gonna have a rehearsal next time, Roman. How's that? Okay, I'm going to screen share this. Now, this is actually a good one.
I'll do it. Hold on a second. I think I can.
Okay, you're going to do it? Okay. I've got it on the other monitor.
Me too.
Oh, that's right. You graduated. I forgot
I cannot
about
find
that.
the page. Watch me. I'll fix it.
You did it.
So
You did it.
my idea for senior dogs is to use that kind of retractable ladder.
And look at that. It's
for
less than
dogs.
$100.
Right? It's easily to get. It's easily to package. You can throw it in the trunk or behind the seat. Okay. Now, back to us.
Now, the dog's not going to instantly know what to do there, is he?
Right. I just put that ladder there. So if I say about ladder, you guys have something in mind. Before we go down that aisle, we have to think about the dog walking up a staircase. Now, that particular ladder, you're going to see that you can see through the steps, right? So if you look at it from a dog's perspective, the dog has to step on something he actually doesn't see because it's just a thin line, right? So what I recommend is teaching the dog what happens on each step. So you start very simple with recognizing why your dog doesn't get up the stairs. Number one, he's a senior, he's in pain. When the dog gets up the ladder, exhibit A, dog, he has to stand on his back legs to get up. At the same time, that leg has to go all the way up to the next step to step on. Dogs doesn't pull themselves up by the front legs, they push themselves up with the back legs. That said, dogs is easy to jump up and put their legs on, but they're not climbing with the front legs, they're climbing with the back legs, which means all their body weight, the 120 pounds, goes onto one leg and he has to make a push-up, right? So imagine how difficult it is for a senior dog to do that. For example, step on this chair in your kitchen without falling over, with one leg only without using your hands. How difficult it is. So we have to teach
Well,
the
that's
dog what
almost
to do with his
impossible.
legs first. But dogs usually are food motivated. And if I say food motivated, think of, hold on, I need to stop myself somewhere over here. Food motivated for only if they're not in stress. So if a dog is stressed, food will not be reinforcers and will not motivate a lot. So you want to do it in your house, very comfortable place. You can use milk boxes that you get from a store. You can boil them, put something on top, and teach your dog how to get on and off from it. So you have two on the floor and one on the top, so the dog learns to climb over it, not on it. Start with one. Let the dog go over it. Put a little hallway so the dog can only go through that. Be on the other side, invite your dog to come to you. The dog will find a better way to climb over it. All he has to do is to climb over it. Bingo. Now we add another one. So you have basically 5. One in the front, one in the center, one at the end, and one on top of it. I know it's a little bit complicated.
Yeah.
But
Well, something else you got to keep in mind too in the Great Pyrenees when you teach them something. I hear a lot of people comment on this that they are overachievers. They learn it quickly. Okay.
right?
And now Mark is asking a question. He said, "Well, okay, well that's all fine, Danny, but wouldn't a ramp be easier than steps?"
I think ramp is a great idea. Where do you put the ramp when you're done?
That's right.
Right.
That and one other thing. You just mentioned something that's pretty key. Budget. You can do
That too,
this with milk crates, and you don't have
right?
to spend $92. You might have something laying around to create this.
Right. So I remember my first client I ever worked with was a little tiny dog, literally that size, who couldn't get in the BMW. The lady wanted the dog to jump on the back seat, but the dog
Oh,
couldn't go on the jump seat because it was too high. So we taught him to walk into the footrest on the bottom. All he had to go is to go in. So I pulled all the front seat on the front, parked the car next to the curb, and the dog literally walked straight in. When we work with big dogs, we need to accommodate for your dog ability to have to bend himself around the corner from the open door. He doesn't have a straight entrance. If you have a truck, it's easy because the door opens wide. If you have a narrow car, the door doesn't open so wide, the dog will not be
right.
able to get in. Plus, he has to put his back leg higher than his body. It's like doing a yoga or something. I don't know.
And doing all this to get into a confined space
Right. Which
that they
means
feel
you cannot
trapped
get
in.
out. Why would you put yourself into a situation you cannot get out? So when we start with that ramp, the first thing we teach the dog is to climb over things. Right? And important is that the dog shouldn't see through it, should see on it. So we
Right.
start low and escalate. You can even use pallets. Everybody throws up pallets. You go to any store, they have pallets. Borrow those pallets, you bring them back again. You use the small ones, obviously. So teach the dog to go up. All you have to do is put some treats on top of the pallet, leave your dog alone. He'll figure it out how to get to the top treat.
Now, with the
Once I
Great Pyrenees, oh, I'm sorry, Roman, go ahead.
go ahead.
With the Great Pyrenees, you got to remember they like to be elevated for the better line of sight.
Right? So dogs don't have a problem climbing on things. It just don't make any sense to them to climb something that is not visible to them. Right? If you go to a staircase that doesn't have the front side, you will see through it. The dog doesn't see that as a stairs. Now, the next
Okay.
thing I'm going to teach him once he climbs up the stairs, before he goes to the third and fourth stair, he needs to know how to make a U-turn. The problem is
He
once you get
yeah,
the dog up, doesn't
he
mean you
needs
can
an
pick the dog
escape
back,
route. He
right?
needs an escape route. Yes.
Teach him the dog how to take a U-turn from the second step back down again. So put some treats up, let them eat them, let them come back again. Slowly, slowly walk him way up. Technically speaking, you wouldn't have a problem with it. But if you do have a problem with it, then it's likely a medical underlying condition. Your dog has a hard time pushing himself up. Hip dysplasia, inflammation, joint problems, rheumatitis, or scared. The dog may be scared of going upstairs for whatever reason, or going
Right.
downstairs for whatever reason. We don't know what happened in the past, right?
In some cases, like a dog inside the house that won't go up the stairs, we have noticed that often it is a fear of what's up there when they get there.
Right. Now, one thing we have to take in consideration that never ever pull your dog up. I
Yeah.
see this all the time.
And
I can have thousands of videos. People pull the dog up thinking that that will encourage your dog up. Basically, you're choking your dog to do something he doesn't like to do. It's not going to make your relationship better with that.
let's try to hold off on that because then it makes it harder when you finally do call a
All right.
trainer.
Now,
It
in
makes
the
it harder for
car,
them.
I recommend keeping the door open on the other side so the dog can see through it.
hmm
Have one person that he really cares for being already in the car, already in place, and the dog meets that person. And the person can encourage the dog to come onto them. The dog will find a way to get in. Make sure the dog has room. He eventually wants to step first into the floor space and then get up to the seat. Now, the other part is the seat that's very soft. The dog has a hard time standing on it. Remember, you can
Sure
stand on
footing.
your bed and walk around on your bed, how difficult it is with two legs? The dog has to do it with one leg first, right? Once the dog is in, don't forget, you can feed your dog, you can have fun with your dog, you can have playtime with your dog. Don't drive away with your dog on the first trial, otherwise you're going to ruin it. So do a couple of rounds in and out, let me have fun. If some dogs don't have to go in the back seat, they have to go in the trunk. Think about that, how difficult it is for you to get in the trunk, and make it easy for your dog. Use a back ramp, use a footstep, whatever you can find to step on. I used carton boxes. I filled them up with styrofoam and taped it. That was as cheaper I could get to train the dog up to the staircase. So you can get different types of heights. You need only one step to get your dog in, likely, which you can pull out under the car next to your car if you have one.
That's right. Sydney's absolutely right. This will help with transport too.
Right? Because the first thing is going to happen from the adoption center, the dog has to get in the car. How do you get the dog in the car?
Yep.
And remember that the dog has been dumped to the shelter in a car, being captured through the car to the shelter. So dogs
Maybe
are,
lost their home through the car. That's the last time they
right?
saw their parents.
And how many dogs have been captured with a flirt pole or with a catch pole and dragged into the truck? Some dogs are
Right.
afraid of cars with 4 doors or minivans.
And if they're afraid for their life, they're going to respond the same way.
Right. And aggression can happen and leash activity can happen too.
Mm-hmm. All we're simply doing is making a new association here. Okay.
Right. So if you guys want the step-by-step instructions how to do that, reach out to me in my email or messenger, and I'll put the list together specifically for your dog. So you tell me the breed, the size, the age, and your type of your car, and I tell you exactly how to get your dog in.
And pretty soon they're going to have your email address up on screen too. Pretty soon, I think.
Yep.
I see Melanie hard at work here. Oh, maybe I didn't.
It's Roman at holisticdogtraining.org. Now you got
Right.
it.
Well, we've got it in the banners. She was too intent on listening to what you had to say. I saw that. At least it used to be in the banners.
No, it's his link.
Roman
What's the
at
dog's
Holistic
name
Dog.
that is on the screen with Molly?
No, that's Elsie.
Elsie. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel fosters should have at home a stethoscope. I don't have mine handy. A stethoscope. And the first thing you try is to start feeling your dog's heartbeat here. Teach your dog how good it feels to feel that. Oh, that's so good, gets you so many treats. What you want to look for is for a consistent heartbeat. Sometimes dogs get a fast heartbeat because they're stressed. Sometimes they are too long stressed, which means they need attention on that. So if you get a dog in from a shelter, from a rescue, into your home, grab the stethoscope, feel your dog. If he's panting, is because of his heart rate, not the other way around. Any vet techs around? Chime in on that. I didn't know about that. I heard it yesterday. So now I'm
I
playing
knew
smart.
about that. We a sad story, so I'm not going to go over it, but we had a situation that a some training methods elevated the dog's stress, elevated the heart rate, and we were having a hard time getting that back down again. We ended up losing the dog to sedation. They couldn't wake him back up,
Yep.
and that was a Montana dog. All right. So anyway, there's Roman's email address. So if you have any questions, feel free to. You can email Roman. You can email the show if you want, but show doesn't have an email address, so you'd have a hard time doing that. So email Roman. Okay. I answer questions too. But Roman, it's humbling watching him in action. I'll tell you that right now. Now, then that was the big question I remembered. Okay.
Yeah.
I got, like I said, I got busy. I came in. You can ask Molly and Melanie way later than I normally do. So
Most challenging part that I work on the staircase was with the three-legged dog. I sent Steve a message with that video, with that
okay,
link
remind me which one that is.
in the messenger. It's a three-legged dog from rescue. His
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
back leg was amputated. This is the first time she was cleared for training. And that dog had to go 17 stairs up.
Yep.
Because the entrance were downstairs and the house was upstairs. The lady that owned the dog had also medical issues with her knees. She had 2 knee surgeries, so she was very empathetic with the dog. She could not get the dog to go up. So, but the dog loved the kids. So my first session is that video. I sent the kids upstairs. Yay! And the dog ran just up there. Just like
Imagine that. You made it worth the dog's while, didn't you?
Right? The funny part is that dog who was declared from the vet as handicapped. He should be treated like a handicap. Don't do with the dog endings. We train him
because he lost a leg.
Right? We train him to be in a swimsuit, on a swim vest, and go with those people on vacation on their boat.
You know why?
Taught the dog how to come around the boat and come close to the boat so they can pick him up on a harness.
That falls under the category the vet didn't tell the dog he needed to be treated as handicapped, so the dog didn't know.
Plus, he was an amazing dog because he can throw the ball, the tennis ball, from 20 feet away right in your hands. Just like that. Because he was too lazy to come back. Smart dog.
Wow. I had a client one time that had a pug, had 2 pugs, and they were thinking about, moving forward with getting like a Great Pyrenees or an Akbosh or something like that. But one of these pugs had bitten them. Can you imagine a pug biting somebody? A pug. Well, something happened and made that dog scared for his life and feel the need to bite the only people he trusted. And I didn't, and also too, I didn't feel, I was nice about it. I didn't feel that they were quite ready for a Great Pyrenees if their pugs are biting them. And I sent them over to Roman. I don't typically work with pugs.
I
didn't think you had to work with pugs. No, I laugh about it, but it's real. It is a real thing. Just because it's just a pug, it's not just a pug. That's still a dog, and they still have needs that have to be met. So I don't know if they ever contacted Roman. This a few years ago, but I don't know if they ever. I don't even know why I just thought about it. Hell, I can't remember why I walk into the other room sometimes. But bottom line is, all dogs have needs. If we miss the needs, and there's a need from the dogs are going to go fulfill their own needs, and then we're not going to like it. There we go. The hierarchy of dog needs. I love how she moved that from the human to the dogs. I love that because the dogs are more deserving of it. So, and the number, and that's it right there. You got to meet the dog's needs, and that helps you identify them. Okay. The hardest part is identifying the need at the time. You know how many times I've had myself say, "What is it you need, guy, big boy? What do you want?" Well, that's because I haven't. Because I'm living it, I can't figure out my own dog, but yet you trust me as yours. But anyway, yeah, they will tell you their needs, and just so happens his need was, I need you to throw your glove at me. You know that brand new glove you just bought, because I need you to throw it so I can bring it back and then eat it. If you have a dog that chews up your shoes, give him a old pair of your shoes. That be surprised how that might work. Okay, that'll satisfy that need of your scent with his chew toy. Aggressive chewing is a stress relief. Okay, in a lot of dogs, especially giant ones. Pickles, what are you doing in my file cabinet? Put Roman's file back. I'm kidding. All right. Pickles, open the file cabinet. If you teach a dog how to do something, a livestock guardian breed will excel at it. Apparently, I taught him how to open the file cabinet. Yeah, I can't open it sometimes. Anyway, what a show we had today. Roman, do you have any advice for anybody on closing statement? I know
in regards to the shoes.
In regards to anything. How about throw something out of left field? Say, what? You didn't talk about that.
Good question. Now, I would say one thing that I noticed today is people pay attention to the tail.
Well, that's a good sign.
Right? And we know that Pyrenees have a weird tail that tells a lot.
It's hard to read.
Think about that. A confident guardian dog will have the tail up. How he wags the tail is important. The less he wags, the more problematic it gets. It doesn't mean he's scared. He cannot predict what's happening. He's quiet himself down. So the less wagging, the less sure the dog is what's going on. Doesn't mean he's less confident. He can kill you like that. He doesn't have to. But you want that to be happy. Can you rotate?
Well, we always thought it was happy until we see two dogs at a fence trying to kill each other and their tails are just a wagging away.
Examples. Do you see the dog's tail?
No.
You don't?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm nose to nose with him. That's why.
It's still there.
Yeah.
But that tail is not always for the front guy. It's more for the back guys. But if the dog is a guardian dog, that tail will show up because it's tall and high and tells you, hey, I know what's going on here. I'll take care of it. Or I'm not sure what you want to do here, but I'm watching you, kind of, sort of. Oh, now I know what to do with it. So a happy guardian dog can be still dangerous because he's happy doing the job he's supposed to do. Tell everybody, I got this. Let me do it. Right? So many people fall for it because it says, well, he was wagging his tail. Why did he bite the person? Because he was confident doing his guardian job.
That's right.
Not because he's happy seeing the other guy. And then we have the tail wagging that's only on one side. It's like telling the pilot, go on that side only. So if a dog wags only on one side, you can only see on the back only one side of the tail, not the other. Stay away from it. The dog is not ready to meet you. He's confident what to do, but he's not predictable what's going to happen. So he backs off a little bit. If you don't see your dog's tail, interrupt what you're doing. Go back where he wags his tail earlier.
Yeah.
Just that on the go. See how you feel about
it. The dogs are full of communication signals. Now, I would like to, Roman, I would like to, sometime very soon, I would like you to discuss dog introductions for the first time, because that is an area that, man, we're losing we're missing out on good first impressions here with dogs. And part of this is because, well, the Great Pyrenees are such good communicators. They give, I've identified more signals with the Great Pyrenees than I have German Shepherd, obviously. All right. So my question is, are they speaking the same language when they first meet? I think
Great
not.
question. I'm Greek Austrian. My first language is Austrian. My second language, Greek. My third language, English. Later on, my first language was Greek. The second language was German. And the third language was English. Now, my first language is English. My second language is Greek. And now my third language is German. I changed my language over time because I forgot talking about it.
That's correct. And that's important.
Right? Now, if we see a dog who comes from a certain family and lives in a certain close environment, his language will be a slang that only that family speaks. If I bring another dog from another family that speaks another slang, they may not communicate the right conversation. That doesn't mean, and I would say the dog's body language, the way they speak, think of music, right? It has all these things included, the way the music feels to you, the way it sounds to you. All dogs hear the same music. They perceive the music differently depending on their background and the history of how social they are. How do they feel about the other one's feeling is more important what they actually hear. So if a dog sees a wagging tail and a dog has feelings about it, how does he handle his feelings is more important as how the other dog feels about it. Which means if I have to introduce two dogs from each other, and if they don't feel safe, they will not see the same language. They will
That's right.
misinterpret the language
That's
because the
right.
one will have a trauma brain and the other one has a trauma filters. Therefore, before we do any introduction, if the dogs are not very good connected to the handler, to their humans, that walk them through the process, how to go through the process, I would not start even an introduction to start with because you cannot stop it.
Right. They got to have some, when they're on the leash, just always remember they can't win. Just assume they
Right,
can't
right.
win a fight because they can't maneuver.
So
So
if I have to
give them
deal
you
with
to turn to. You got the leash.
if I turn to a rescue and I have to introduce a new dog from a rescue, I'll let the people holding their dog while I'm holding the new dog because I have a better feeling what I can expect through that process, and I can watch the other dog what he does and what message he's sending to my dog who has no clue what's going to happen.
Now
And I
that
don't
remember,
want their
Roman's
dog.
got a lot of experience with this.
I do actually. I do. Because I used to be a behavior foster. I used to get in dogs from New York shelter, who all of them were on the euthanasia list, and the lightest one was 120 pounds. Right? The biggest one were over that, and I had to introduce them in my household.
Hmm.
It was an
And
easy
I
case,
did something similar, and
right?
me and Roman didn't have dogs because they were cupcakes.
And so yeah, it comes with enough knowledge. If I say don't match these dogs together, don't do it. Just don't.
That's
What
right.
you can do as a foster or a trainer is one have those little fake dogs. Amazing. You can do whatever you want with them. They don't
Hmm.
even complain about it. And I would
Yeah.
have three sizes: a small dog, a medium dog, and a big dog. Because that will tell you what the dog's brain
That's
sees
right.
seeing a dog,
Hmm.
right? Because if I show you something, you don't know what it is, you make assumptions what it is. And in reality, if a dog has a trauma brain and he sees that shape of a dog, he's going to believe that's a real dog and it will behave like it will be a real dog, which gives you a lot of information what you will see if that would be really a real dog.
Right.
And then you can teach your dog what to do with it.
And that's what I use my decoy, I call them decoy dogs, stuffed dogs for, is at shelters. All right. I've got a husky um, that doesn't have a face on it because I was showing them the difference of introductions, sniffing butts or sniffing faces.
Right,
Guess
right.
what? Butts don't bite.
I heard that before.
Yeah, I think I got it from you, but I've been saying that to a lot of people. And I give you credit when credit's due.
Right. I don't
Roman
deserve it.
knows.
I heard it
Roman
somewhere
was the
else.
first
Something
to
like that.
understand butts don't bite. Okay, and slow is fast. Now that one is not on you.
I don't even know what you mean.
I've been saying slow is go slow. When you bring your new dog into your home, don't go rushing through things.
Right, right,
Slow
right.
down, and you'll see that the slower you go, in many cases, the faster the dog will settle in. In some things. So
That comes
slow
the
is
same way
fast.
with the staircase or with the introduction dog. You can go only as fast as their body can process it. Can I meet my dog? Can he meet my dog? No, he cannot. When? I don't know. We were gonna find out as we go.
Yeah. And I had a person one time look at their watch. I says, you may as well take that and throw it away because we go by their watch.
Yeah,
They are the time clock. And also, too, let's add to that, they're also the dictionary. They're the ones that define certain words, not us,
right.
because
And
we never gave them our
one easy
dictionary.
thing I want to also give before I'm sure people want to leave. Somatic experience is something your dog is dealing with, whether he's aggressive, has separation anxiety, or is scared. His body is going through a process to make sense for what happens to the body. Sometimes the brain is not there yet. So remember that you're not talking to your dog, you're trying to communicate with his individual body parts, his heart, his liver, his gallbladder, right? His stomach, all these things you're communicating with without you knowing it. So if a stressed dog who has belly ache is more likely resource cutting than a dog who doesn't. So who are you talking to? The brain? No, you're talking to the belly. Separation anxiety. You leave the house, the dog thinks he's gonna die. Right? That body response is what you're dealing with, not the brain. The brain has no clue what's happening right now. All he sees is a closed door and you're gone. So
That's right.
I spoke.
By the way, Rena wants to do one of these on tail language, except she doesn't want to use graphics. She wants to use real photos and or videos on the tail
Okay.
language, so they can see in real time what we're talking about. And
Yeah.
I actually agree with that, except I don't have. It's hard for me to work with a dog that's trying to eat me or something or whatever, doesn't know
Right,
anything, and
right.
hold the camera at the same time.
So
And
what
but
I
yet
would
you've
say,
done that in the past.
I I I have the same problem here. I
Yeah,
bought a camera so I can put it on myself so I can video record when I'm dealing with things.
right.
It's still there hanging, not even charged.
Yeah,
Forget
well,
it.
that camera still has to hook to your tablet or whatever, and if you get out of range, you've lost it.
But any videos you guys have that shows a dog interacting and doing something,
Or just wagging their tail in general.
right? No, no. People
Well,
don't see
that's
little
probably looking at
differences.
something is what I'm getting at.
Right. But no matter if your dog wags the tail the same way, just send a video of the dog's tail wagging from the front, from the side. You can, what I would say, if you want to see how your dog supposed to wag his tail, all you have to do is offer your dog a treat or something he likes. That is what you're looking for. If that doesn't look like that, is a problem.
That's
Because you
right.
want a happy dog doing happy things. And if that doesn't look like this, no matter what it looks like, stop what you're doing, back off, stay away from it.
Yeah. Body
So,
language can get confusing because a lot of it is determined by what's going on around at the time.
right,
Okay. And so, like rolling around on their back. Wow, he's got an itchy back. Well, maybe he's stressed.
right.
That's a stress relief.
So we can see more in a 3-second video and slow it down.
That's right.
Then people look for it. And I
Yeah.
always take from you want a happy relationship? How does happy look like? That's what you're aiming at. Make sure you're playing that. Because body language is not, as Rena says, body language is not just a tail.
Right.
It's the legs, it's the
It's the
ears,
body.
it's the head, it's the coat, it's the location, the relationship between the dog's position in relationship with the trigger and in relationship to you. A fearful dog will position himself differently than a confident dog in the same situation with the same tail wagging and with the tail ear stance and panting and mouth and nose. It's all one image throwing at you at the same time. So don't look at the tail and then look at it on the ears. You have to just see the whole picture
Mhm.
at the same time. That's the emotional footprint.
Yep. And Great Pyrenees, they give great body language, don't they? Boy, oh boy. I
Yes,
call them
because they are
masters
not
of
lethal.
communication.
Their job is to not kill anyone.
That's
So they
right.
want to be
Yeah.
very expressive,
I'm
very
glad you
loud,
said that.
showing off. So the other one says, I'm not going to deal with that because they don't want to get in a fight. The last thing you want
Mhm.
is an injured dog. So
Mhm.
dogs who were injured didn't survive to mate. They're being excluded from the very beginning Dogs who didn't work the right way were excluded because everybody kills them. So who's being left? A perfect guardian dog. That's what we're dealing with.
Yeah. So, and I'm glad you said that. That was good. Because a lot of times it's not what you think. You know how many times what you think your dog is thinking and what the dog is really thinking. You know how many times that matches? Very seldom. So anyway, all right, let's get done with this. People are probably fleeing by now. Uh, but yeah, she wants to do that, and I think that's a good idea because it's important to understand what your dog's trying to say. So, and it's not all about treats and stuff. He might be warning you, but you told him in the past, "Don't you dare bark anymore." Well, now he can't warn you.
Right.
Okay. Now, trust me. When's the last time that works with Great Pyrenees? Tell him not to bark. All right. But anyway, I'm trying to make an example here, and I'm failing miserably, Roman. So anyway, next week, you gonna try to come back again next week, Roman? Awesome. Thank
I
you.
have already blocked out that Sunday 1 o'clock.
Now, somebody's probably cussing you because that was the only time they had, right?
Yeah, I had to move a couple of appointments.
All right, and I appreciate you doing that. We really, really do because your input's extremely, extremely valuable. And anytime you listen to Roman, anytime Roman's up there, listen to him. You're going to leave with more knowledge that you always do. It just happens that way. Okay. All right, everybody. I think we're done for the day because I have an Akbosh here that first was eating my green screen at the bottom because he's a puppy. And then he decided to get up and move around, turn around, and go lay back down with his head facing the other way. And he knocked one of my lights over for the green screen. And fortunately, I was prepared for having a puppy in here. And he did that because he's clumsy. All right. And I have a puppy because I'm an idiot. Puppies are hard. Okay.
Yep.
So,
So if
all right,
someone again
everybody.
has a problem, don't hesitate. Reach out. Get the answer you need before problems get bigger. It's easier to
That's
address.
right. And on that note, bye, everybody. See you next week.